And it's so important for us as the National Education Association to show the world that we are a family of educators. I'm not sure there's anyone who embodies that family more than this year's honoree. Saul Ramos learned Braille. He learned Braille on his own. Can you imagine how hard that was? He said, a student needs me to be able to show that I respect that student. And so he learned Braille on his own. In 1999, when that student, that visually impaired student, was a kindergarten student, he was there to watch that kindergarten student get his high school degree 12 years later. It's what our ESPs do every single day, with patience, with understanding, with guidance. They love those students. They wrap those students in success. As a paraeducator in Worcester, Massachusetts, public schools, Saul is an advocate for those visually impaired students, the English language learners. His advocacy extends outside those school walls and into his leadership in this union. He's a recent graduate of our ESP Leaders for Tomorrow. He mentors new ESPs. He facilitates national trainings for our organization. And he was recognized at the MTA Red Sox Most Valuable Educator Award. That's kind of cool. And then in March, this remarkable man was awarded the highest honor our union can give, and it was the 2017 NEA ESP of the Year Award. Delegates, please show that love. Please welcome the shining example of an ESP who works every day loving his students and loving his union, Saul Ramos.
Thank you, Lily, and thank you, NEA delegates, for the warm welcome. I'd like to extend a special thanks to NCESP President Debbie Chandler, to MTA leaders Barbara Mataloni and Eric Champy, to the MTA Executive Committee and the MTA Board of Directors, to the amazing leader of my local, the Educational Association of Worcester, Roger Nugent. And I would be remiss if I didn't shout out to my MTA mentors, Jean Fay, Donna Johnson, Kathy Meltsakos, and Bobby Travers. And of course, to my fellow Massachusetts delegates. Where are you? Make some noise. I also know that 2016 ESP of the Year is also here, Doreen McGuire-Grigg from California. And of course, I want to honor all of our former ESP of the Year recipients and the 2017 ESP of the Year nominees with whom I share this award. I ask that you all stand to be recognized. I also want to acknowledge Keith Bangert. Keith is an amazing teacher for the visually impaired. I have worked with Keith for 18 years, and he has been very influential in my personal and professional life. In fact, Keith made many of the Braille materials that I used when I became interested in learning it. Keith is not just a great colleague, but he is also a great friend and advocate for me and for the work that I do. I'd like to begin my speech today by talking to you about one of my amazing students, Tin Nguyen. All of my students have success stories, but Tin is one of my favorites. At an early age, he faced the kind of obstacles that would make most of us here today feel overwhelmed or maybe even defeated. But Tin has something special inside that compels him to look at his challenges a little differently than most of us. For Tin, the trials of his life have never been stopping points, but stepping stones towards his goals. He was born premature, weighing only 3 pounds and legally blind. He was given very little chance of survival, but the persistence, love, and faith of his parents said otherwise. They demanded that Tin be kept on oxygen, and their baby boy survived. And today, his incredible story is being shared with over 7,000 educators. When I first started working with Tin, he sat in the back of the classroom, isolated and away from the rest of the students. But the more time I spent with him, the more he trusted me. And the more he trusted me, the more he opened up. And the more he opened up, the more independence he gained. At some point, I started to realize that Tin would no longer need me full time. He was taking quantum leaps forward, and today, I'm proud to say, Tin needs only minimum assistance in the classroom. As educators, we want the same success for all our students. We want them to grow more confident, more aware of their own abilities and inner strength, and more fearless in a world that can be unkind in so many ways. Students like Tin teach us all what it means to have the audacity to hope and believe that nothing is impossible. Some call what I do a job, others say it's a career, but I have always believed that what I do is a calling. You see, thank you. You see, when you have a calling, you don't ask the world what it needs. You instinctively go and do what makes you come alive. If there are any questions about what makes me come alive and why I do what I do, Tin is one of my best answers. He and all of my students are why I decided a long time ago that would follow my instincts. I never thought when I got into this profession that this experience is going to change everything. And I never thought when I got into this profession, you're about to discover the power of purpose. But when you follow your calling, those thoughts become a reality. It all began with hopes and dreams for my students, reminding them that someone cares about them, that their presence matters, and they too have purpose. I never believed that being an educator was synonymous with being superhuman. However, it does mean we have a responsibility to build trust with our students, learn their names and interests, take the time to sit down with them, and let them know we are giving them our best. I am not different from countless other inspiring and amazing educators I have worked with over the years. I've had the honor of meeting many from different states at NEA events, like Tim Bell from Utah, a custodian who did everything he could to ensure the safety of his students. He would arrive hours before his start time just to open the doors for students who were dropped off early and had no place to go, especially during the cold winter months. Not only would he open the doors for them, but he would also sit with them, mentor them, help them with homework, and make sure their students were fed. And there's Marty Alvarez from Traverse City, Michigan, a bus driver who goes far and beyond what is asked of her. She makes sure her students get safely to and from school, has books for them to read, holds spelling bees, and also has snacks for them. During this past winter, Marty noticed how many of her younger students had no socks. So she created a sock drive and gathered thousands of pairs of socks for her students so they would be warm during the long winter months. These educators and so many more, who I'm proud to call my colleagues, have some traits in common. They are leaders, they are passionate about their work and the success of their students. I have learned that leadership is not what is given to you, it's taking what is given to you and moving it forward. Leadership is not a big or fancy title, and it doesn't start on the stage. It starts off way in the back, in ordinary places, often with small beginnings. This is the story of our ESP members. We don't choose which students we work with. We don't select and disregard the rest. We take who we are given and pour our hearts and souls into their lives. In Massachusetts, we have a little saying, ESP are the heart of public education, and we sure are. I don't think I've ever met a more hardworking group of individuals than our ESP members all across the country. We do everything for the benefit of our students. We are bus drivers and bus monitors, paraeducators, secretaries, custodians, interpreters and translators, cafeteria workers, security guards, and so much more. We not only change lives, we save lives. But it doesn't end there. We are also leaders in our associations. So to our local and state presidents, if you are looking for hardworking, determined, and passionate individuals, this is the group you need to organize. We are your connection to the students, parents, and to the community. ESP members live in the communities they work in. It is imperative for ESP to stay engaged and for our affiliates to make sure that every single one of us is involved. ESP are also voters, politicians to be listening to educators. We are ordinary people working to help our students succeed and build our nation's future. My fellow delegates of this representative assembly, it is more important than ever for all of us to unite and support public education. ESP members, retired, teachers, higher ed, students, and parents, we must all stand strong together and let our elected leaders know what we need as educators to nurture successful students. And friends, we know there will be challenges and setbacks along the way, but we cannot afford to give up. We must continue to make sure our students come first. They need us to continue to bring light and learning into their lives and continue to inspire them to be more confident, more aware of their own abilities and inner strength, and more fearless in our changing and challenged world. Our students need to continue seeing that no matter how hard things get, they can always rely on us to make them feel secure, safe, loved, and valued. I urge each of you to be active in your communities and to get involved in the priorities of our association. Help us fulfill the promise of our theme this year, uniting members and the nation for strong communities, empowered professionals, successful students. We, teachers and ESP, must continue to work together for the greater good of our students. And when the going gets tough, as it surely will, there is an old Japanese saying, fall 7, rise 8. We must continue to rise and do more than just hope tomorrow will be better than today. We must depend on our collective strength to make tomorrow better for our amazing students and the future of public education. A few years ago, I was diagnosed with glaucoma. My doctor explained that through treatment it could be controlled, but nothing was guaranteed, and that one day I might lose my sight. God has an amazing sense of humor, doesn't she? So my reply to my doctor was, well, at least I already know Braille. But more significantly, that moment revealed to me why it was so important to have a calling in your life. Because when you have a calling, there is no stopping you. When you have a calling, There are no real setbacks or obstacles, politicians or policies that can get in your way. I may lose my sight, but I will never lose my vision for my students or for public education. Vision is unlimited. Vision is discovering something to die for, not live for. Vision clarifies your purpose, empowers your direction, and makes you believe in a better world. From my mother, who is here today, I have learned that vision is not outside of me, but ahead of me, but inside of me. A forest is not ahead of a seed, it is in it. Mami, te quiero con toda mi vida y gracias por ser la mejor madre del mundo. Thank you for being the best mom in the world. To my familia and friends who are here, a big thank you for always believing in me and for being here today. It means the world to me. I do have to say that I am physically missing two people who have been so influential in my life. First, my dad, who passed away from leukemia when I was 11 years old. And my grandma, my viejita linda. 3 years ago, while at the RA in Denver, I was called home because she had fallen ill. I rushed home and made it with enough time to receive one of her special hugs and blessings. A few days later, on July 3rd, 2014, she took her last breath surrounded by our family. So when I was told I would speak on July 3rd this year, I knew it was a sign from her telling me how proud she is of me and that she would be with us here today. I've been blessed to have strong, supportive women in my life, including our NEA leaders, Lily, Becky, and Princess. Thank you. I want to thank them and the NEA Executive Committee for all the opportunities I've been given, including the Minority Leadership Training, the Hispanic Caucus, the Sexual Orientation and Gender Identity Committee, the Para-Educator Institute, and especially the NEA ESP Leaders for Tomorrow program. I want to give a shout out to my fellow LFT grads. Where are you? It was honestly a life-changing experience that I will never forget. So to every educator here today, each of you is a vision that cannot be stopped. Friends, we must always have hope. See ourselves and our students as the winners that we are. Know beyond any doubt that if we are united, if we work together, nothing is impossible and everything is possible. Our hearts and spirits are in the right place. We are full of passion and purpose, and we will continue to work together to make a difference in the lives of our students and the future of our nation. Thank you, NEA, de corazón. Thank you.